Hi, Amy.
Hi, B.
We just watched Match Me Abroad Season 2, Episode 12.
12.
Did you have anything you wanted to share about this episode before we start?
When I first started it, I kind of fast forwarded it through the intro and I paused on what looked like the most delicious meal ever. So then I rewound it and then I couldn't find it again.
How strange. Did
I
you ever
know.
figure it out?
No, but I'm
Okay.
hungry.
Okay. As usual. All right. Well,
I know.
before
What
we
did
dish the
you think?
dirt. Oh, well, my opinion of it is a lot of people were getting pushed in directions that ultimately I think will not serve them.
Excellent perspective.
Mm.
And I concur.
Ah, excellent. Agreement. Thank you. Let's do the 1 and 2. 1, rate, review, and follow us wherever you listen to the podcast. 2, watch the podcast on YouTube at 90 Day Fiancé Honestly. And now let us begin.
All right, let's do it.
Amber has another date with Glenn, also known as Mr. Eyebrows.
I was gonna
Not
say,
Mr. Ireland.
mhm.
No,
those eyebrows are a bit much.
they are way too much. I can't look at anything but the eyebrows. I think the eyebrows have their own personality. It could possibly be more than Glenn's personality. However, I would not date the eyebrows.
I
Would you?
also would not date the eyebrows. And I'm sure
Oh,
you've noticed, and I'm sure those that watch us on YouTube know that I have an eyebrow that has a mind of its own. But I also think that my one singular eyebrow has more of a personality than Glenn does.
agreement here. Yes, nodding. However, the choice of traditional Irish dancing as a date, I think, is a great one.
I thought it looked like so much fun.
Charming. So sweet. I would love to do this. What do we think of Mr. Eyebrows in this date?
I found him super boring.
Really?
Yeah, my comment was Glenn is not for her.
Yeah. It's very, very funny that you should say that because my first comment was, it's amazing how full of confidence he is that he is the one for Amber. I don't believe he is.
With nothing to back it up.
Yeah, it seems like he's just out there for the winning or for the being on TV, the clout.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get anything real from him except that he's enthusiastic and he's very self-confident.
Good for him.
What did you think of Amber telling Glenn that she had stayed overnight with another guy?
Oh, that was super cringy, but I think it was good of her to be honest. Because obviously, when you're dating multiple people and they know that you're dating multiple people, especially through matchmakers, it's par for the course.
Okay.
So I think he could have created his own idea of what actually happened. And I don't think, if she said we didn't have sex, I don't think that he would believe her and be like, of course you did, because I would have.
Yes. I didn't think it was necessary for her to volunteer that information. He
She
asked
could
her,
They went on a date.
yeah, he asked her, what have you been up to these last few days? And she could have just said, I went and I stayed in the castle near Kilkenny, I think it was. Not,
Yeah.
I was invited by another man to have a weekend at this estate. I really thought that that was an odd thing to volunteer as a piece of information to him. And this urges or pushes Glenn on to try to persuade Amber to break things off with Kevin.
I was going to say to piss on her leg, but same thing.
Yeah, he is very territorial. He feels like an entitled brat. I think he's a man who's used to getting whatever he wants,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's at the expense of other people's feelings.
Yes.
He doesn't really care. He just
Yes.
wants what he wants, and damn it all to hell, he's going to get it.
Yes.
It smacks of arrogance.
Cockiness. Even though he refutes it, he's not cocky. He is confident. There's a fine line, dude, and you have bloop, 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 right over that line. I don't know what that noise was. I'm sorry.
That was Amy demonstrating with her fingers, walking a little dance in the air, and then the person fell off a cliff.
I was like trotting, I think. I'm not sure.
He seems very enthusiastic. She has the same kind of energy. They match in certain ways, but I don't get the sense that he's catching any feelings for Amber. He's just playing the part.
Yeah, I think they would both get bored really quickly, and or maybe he's love bombing her and then he's going to retract and then she's going to chase after him, and that's really what he wants. And I think we really find that out when she talks to Katarina. Katarina was so real, and I love her so much more now.
Katarina is always telling the truth in the
Mhm.
hardest moments, and I love that about her.
Yes.
I thought she did an excellent job, but before she talked to Amber, she called Kevin, and
Mhm.
I thought even with Kevin, she was very insightful because she got right to the heart of the matter with Kevin, which
In a
is,
kind way.
of course, which was to ask him, "Have you expressed to Amber how you feel about her?" Katarina asked Kevin how he feels. He says he cares a lot about Amber. And yet that hasn't been communicated to Amber because Kevin is afraid of rejection, afraid of the fact that he knows there are other people involved, and so he could get hurt. I
I
get it.
think
You're
I think
scared.
yeah, he's being super cautious about the whole relationship thing when in reality she's only there for a short period of time. And he really needs to make his interest known. And
Yes.
one of my other comments about Kevin in comparison to Glenn is I really think that Kevin's demeanor, his personality, his apprehension, his ability to second guess things, which I'm not saying is a con. I think it's good to have someone who's a little bit reserved, especially in the face of Amber's personality. I think that he would really even her out. So, I mean, it's easier to say this watching as things play out because obviously we're not in it. But I think that Kevin would be a much better match for her than Glenn. And I remember when they first met, her and Glenn, and they went to the salt mines or whatever it was. I don't know, they went somewhere.
They went to the prison castle.
Thank you. That salt mines.
I know, I was thinking, "What?" They were not little gnomes in a dark mine.
I mean, they could have been, but at the same time, like, their energies match, and I was kind of
Yeah.
really excited about that, but I feel like Glenn has really fallen flat, whereas he's been showing up. He's been showing his interest without being overly communicative about
But
it.
but that's a problem for Amber.
Yes,
She's
but
talked about how she doesn't like the fact that he doesn't text her.
But that's a point of growth for him or an
Mm,
opportunity for
okay.
growth for him. Maybe that's why he hasn't been successful in love because he's been too apprehensive to express his feelings, worried about being hurt. This is his opportunity to really shine, and I really hope that in the next episode that's what we see. But in this episode, I loved how Katarina called Amber out and Amber was just, "What? What do you mean?" I forget what she said, but she got all, like, defensive about it. I think it's exactly what Amber needed to hear, whether or not she wanted to hear it at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. She did need to hear that. She did need the hard truths. The way that Amber described her two relationships, saying that being with Kevin is like an emotional roller coaster. I thought that was not good.
And
And
also
then
untrue. How can you have an emotional roller coaster with some guy who's so chill?
think what she means is the lack of communication puts her in the down spiral of the roller coaster, and then all of a
Okay,
sudden it's like, "Come away with me for a weekend at this romantic castle," which
okay.
is obviously the opposite of that. So I can see how she would feel that it is like that, but at the same time, Katarina gets right to the point here where she says, "Do you think that Glenn is genuine?" Which is a fantastic question.
Mhm.
You can
Very valid.
see that Amber is like her wheels are spinning. She's trying to make excuses and find the good in Glenn in order to make that her choice rather than Kevin, who is the more of a question mark because he's not feeding her the attention she craves, whereas
Yes.
Glenn is.
But how much attention is Glenn going to shower her with before he retracts it? When is
Absolutely.
he gonna get bored?
And this is why Katarina is saying Glenn is typical of the men that Amber has dated in the past, and he's not really good for her because it is a situation where there's a lot of love bombing, and then who knows what comes next. But it's obviously not good because Amber is still single, and she needs to try something else, which is the Kevin route. But I'm going to stick to what I said last time, which is that I don't think that either of these choices is good for Amber. Obviously, Glenn, eh, he's a prick. And there's just no two ways about it. He is. Kevin is a nice guy, absolutely, but he is too reticent. He hasn't yet learned to take life by the horns. He hasn't learned to seize the moment. He hasn't learned to be free with his emotions and to take the opportunity when it is in front of him. And unless he has some huge emotional growth between this episode and the next one, I really don't think that Amber's going to end up going home with either one of these guys as her boyfriend.
Well, I think I said that last week. I don't think she's going to go home with either one of them. I think she needs to find someone who's in between their personalities and their, I want to say comfort, but I also don't want to say comfort because I feel like Glenn is way too comfortable with himself. And I feel like Kevin really needs to amp that up. That being said, I still think that this is a huge opportunity for Kevin to step it up.
I would love to see that happen. But just from what we've seen so far, I don't think that that's in the works. It doesn't seem to be at that point. If they'd had more time together and Kevin had actually fallen somewhat in love by this point, I think that that would have been possible. But given that they've only had a few dates, he's not been consistent with the communication, I don't think he would be at the stage where he would say, oh, really need to show her how I'm feeling before she leaves, because otherwise I'm in danger of losing her forever.
I wonder how he and Veronica would work together.
Veronica? Do you mean Victoria?
That one, yes. Thank you.
Yes. Interesting question. Had not thought about that. They're both kind of, what's the word? Not commitment phobic, although she is that. You know, when the personality, the attachment style is
Avoidant.
avoidant. Thank you. They both are avoidant, I think. So I'm not sure that would work out so well.
I don't know. I just had that idea, and that's why I was stabbing myself in the face with my pen,
Huh.
with my non-clicky pen.
Do you have any other things to communicate regarding Amber?
No, I am actually quite eager to move on to the next one.
Oh, well, let us do so. And let's discuss Tony.
He doesn't show up to his own breakup. Classic Tony. I felt
Isn't it a
so
firing?
bad. Sorry?
Isn't it a firing?
Yes.
He's getting fired.
Yes, but he doesn't
Yes.
show up to it because he would rather be the control freak and say F you without saying F you because he knows what's coming
Mm-hmm.
instead of taking any kind of feedback. Any kind of feedback. Nope.
This guy
Nope.
is not willing to grow. He's not willing to learn. He is not open to any kind of criticism. He thinks he is perfect as he is, and the problem lies with everybody else.
You know, when they have, oh, Tony on the beach with the umbrella and he was trying to stick it in the sand. Did you see how he couldn't stick it in the sand and he had
Yeah.
to hold it?
Mm-hmm. I know. The trolling has been on par all
Yeah.
season long. There's no doubt about that. My comment for Tony is dirtbag, disrespectful, asshole.
Mine was Tony has his own way of loving himself.
Ugh, that makes me want to vomit. But everything that he does or doesn't do in this episode just proves the case, proves everything that Luiza is saying about him. It proves everything that we have thought about him. We are totally justified in having thought that Tony was an asshole from the beginning because of this.
Polio.
Yes.
I'm aging myself. I'm sorry.
But I think Luiza, she does a wonderful job of breaking it down for us, talking about Tony not being ready for a healthy relationship. Absolutely, 100%. There's nothing more that she can do for him. She's given him all these opportunities to meet women, to go on dates. He's rejected everybody. He's rejected everything, all of the feedback, criticism. And he does this as a way to hurt other people before they hurt him.
Or at least reject them before
Yes.
they hurt him.
Yes.
Which I think is very, very valid, very poignant.
He is nothing but rude, beyond rude to
And,
Luiza.
on that, like, the scale of good looking and crazy, like he's below ground zero at that point. Like he is that kind of guy that just expects the utter world and has nothing to offer. But again, I think it's his mommy issues because I think his mom blew smoke up his ass for so friggin' long. He can't accept anything other than sheer perfection, but sheer perfection will never accept him. Or maybe his mom was absent and he's been doing everything he possibly can to get his mom's acceptance, can't get it. So now he rejects every woman because none of them are his mom. And that's the only acceptance that he needs
He
is
only
from his
needs
mom.
his mom's acceptance. Well, he definitely has some deep traumatic emotional wound from somewhere. Who knows what it is? All I can tell you is that I think that Tony is the poster child for someone who needs therapy right now.
I think he's completely and utterly useless as a human being.
Ooh.
I don't ever want to see him on my screen again. Him and his tattooed forehead. Like, he's just ridiculous. He's beyond help. And I felt really bad for Luiza that she was given this task, and it was an impossible task. I really hope that she chalks this one up to, my lord, there was nothing I could have friggin' done
I
to make
hope
this work.
I hope that Louisa got a huge fat fee out of Tony before all of this
Oh,
ridiculous behavior happened,
I
so
like
that
that.
she gets rewarded for all of her hard work and patience, as well as compensated for the disrespect and the lack of consideration.
I think we're only at what, season 2 of Match Me, but out of the 2 seasons, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that he has had the most dates out of any single person
Yeah, I think you're right.
because he had that blind date where he had what, 4 or
Th
5 different
3.
women?
3.
3?
So he had 5 women altogether, I
Mhm.
think.
And then we look at everyone else and it's 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And he poo-poos everything.
Mhm.
Everyone, everything. My lord, I'm glad he's done, but man, I cackled when he didn't show up. Like, this man has no integrity.
Yeah. It yes, it was very funny that he didn't come, but at the same time, I so much was looking forward to this moment of seeing his face drop when Louisa says, "You're fired.
Mhm.
Get out of here." And we didn't get that satisfaction, but on the other hand, his behavior towards Louisa is confirmation of everything that we've already thought about him. So, that is
We
also very satisfying.
Yeah,
Shall we read on? Sarah
and EJ.
and EJ. They are having another date. They've had lots of dates, apparently. They've been seeing each other regularly since the last episode, but no kiss yet. No talk of the future yet.
I thought the lack of kissing was interesting, but we also know from Amber that Singaporeans take things as a culture, I guess, like dating culture, they take things very slowly. So I'm not sure if he was respecting that, if he was respecting her, or if he was worried that if he kissed her, her lips would pop.
Lots to consider there. I was also concerned about the lack of kissing, but now that you mentioned this is a Singaporean culture, I have to dial it back a little. So my
Hmm.
initial response was there's definitely something wrong here that they've gone out so many times and not haven't breached the physical barrier yet. But maybe, yes, maybe given the culture, it is okay and there's really nothing wrong with it at all. No alarm bells should be sounding at this point.
Well, even when we have his little interviews, he says he's so interested in her. They've had such a great time. But again, after that many dates, like even Harold got a missteppin' kiss on what, the second date?
Yeah.
And EJ hasn't even tried. And then I'm jumping ahead a bit, but they do have that kiss and it was, mwah,
It was a peck.
yeah. It
Yeah.
wasn't one of those, like, you lean in and it's, like, that
Slow
slight
motion,
peck, and then it just, like, turns into, like, this big
melting.
emotional. Are you gonna start singing?
No.
With your arms?
Like, I'm feeling what you're describing when they're
Yeah.
exactly,
There
I
there
wanted
was
that.
so much more that could have happened. Like, it could have been one of those Disney fairy tale kisses that was just, "Come on, you wanna kiss the girl, ooh, whoa, whoa," like, there was none of that. It almost seemed like a business transaction. Like, there was no emotion involved in it. It was like, "'Kay, goodbye."
Yes, I see that, I felt a little bit cold, a little bit sterile to me. It felt more like kissing your family member or close friend. Yeah, there was nothing romantic about it. I was
Mhm.
waiting for that moment when the kiss just lingers 1, 2 seconds, and then there's that look as you move away from each other and look into each other's eyes. None
No,
of
it was
that.
legit like, mwah. She gets into the car, she drives away. He watches her drive off forlorningly, and I
I don't know.
look forlorningly as well. All the things that could have been. And it's not like either one of them tried to do anything differently. It was just, okay.
All right. Well, we're not going to figure this out, but let's talk about the date itself. What did you think of this interesting idea of catching prawns, cooking them, and eating them?
Okay, first of all, I don't know if they actually cooked them and ate them. I don't think we saw that.
We saw the cooking.
Oh, maybe I was cooking myself. Not myself, but chopping,
You were in the
preparing,
kitchen. Ah, you got distracted. Okay.
which is kind of frustrating
I
because
was like, why are you cooking yourself? Isn't that painful?
you know how I feel. Because my question was, did they even eat the prawns? But I thought that the whole idea of the prawn fishing, I thought that was really cute. I thought it was really unique. And I'm on Sarah's side. Like, I love fishing, but I will not bait the hook. I can't. It makes me gag.
Fair.
But I will fish, and I think she gave an effort
Okay.
to engage. She did catch one prawn. I'm surprised that I actually missed the actual cooking and the eating. Like, at what point did I step away and I came back and they were just departing?
I don't know. I don't think we saw them eating them, but we saw I want to say scampi prawns. We saw the prawns on a grill. It was barbecued after.
Well, I was hungry before, but now I'm even more hungry.
All
EJ,
right.
I will eat prawns with you. Anyway, I really didn't appreciate how she was pressuring him about the kids and her
Okay.
timeline. I really think that she needs to respect his timeline without projecting hers onto him. And she even said in her little interview thing, I need to convince him that he needs to have kids before 2 years. But at the same time, when you first meet someone, it takes a long time to actually get to know them. So you're saying that you just want to meet them, you want to marry him, and immediately have kids? That's a bit much. You have no time to establish the foundation of your relationship in order to have a family.
Yeah.
It's really setting them up for failure if she wants to pressure him like that. And she even says in her interview, I'm gonna try to convince him to
I
have
found
babies.
this I found this very confusing. Not confusing in the timeline because it was obvious she has this 1-year strict deadline. She wants to start having a family within 1 year of meeting somebody. And
Mhm.
he says he needs a minimum of 2 years because he wants to establish his business.
Do you know how old he is right now?
I can't remember. I don't know if we've ever been given his age.
I feel
But
like we can
that
have.
aside, so their plans don't seem to match. We've got 1 year versus minimum 2 years, but at certain point they started saying, well, if this were to happen, as in they were to get together and have kids, we would make it work,
Yeah.
even if the timeline hadn't been the 2 years yet. And I was like, okay, so you are on the same page, but then it seemed at the end that they weren't on the same page.
No, to me, it sounded like baby trapping.
Yeah. And then I thought, like you did, why on earth would you have this deadline of nearly a year, which is nothing, before having kids with somebody when you can't really know them that well that quickly? And why on earth doesn't she freeze her eggs? I'm sure she has the ability to do that. She seems very well off. If she's got this time crunch where she doesn't want to wait until she's 38, oh my God, so she has to do this within the next year to get pregnant, then freeze your goddamn eggs and take the pressure off. Get to know somebody properly and make sure that it's the right one. Don't just grab the nearest guy because you've got a ticking time bomb.
Or the nearest syringe.
Eey. You mean turkey baster?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was not
But I
happy with
mean,
this date at all.
how many men do you know who could fill a turkey baster? Let's be serious.
Trying to answer the question.
Okay, correct. Correct. I was just the I was just thinking of the syringes because I feel like that's what they normally use in order to inject whatever. Okay, let's
Yeah, let's
move
move
on from
on.
that. Anyway,
Mhm.
I don't appreciate that she's pressuring him about kids, and now she wants to change his timeline to appease herself. And also, we all know how self-involved she is with her looks, and it's almost reminiscent of Jasmine. Are you going to carry this baby yourself? Because if not, freezing your eggs, having a surrogate would be an excellent option. And that gives you a hell of a lot more time.
Yeah.
So why do you feel this pressure to do it? Unless she really wants to carry this child herself. But medicine has come such a long way. And yet you're setting this unilateral timeline on yourself. That's a hell of a lot of pressure to put on a guy that you've known for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's huge. I have no words. I don't understand why she is doing this, except that she must be incredibly desperate just to get to the point of having the family. And if she wants a family that bad and she feels like, no, I've only got 1 year left before I'm going to be a shriveled up old bag who can't have kids, which of course is nonsense, then why don't you go to a sperm bank and get some good sperm and then do it yourself?
Or freeze the eggs.
Also an alternative to freezing eggs or having a surrogate or doing all of the other things that would give you more time to get
So
to
many
know
options.
somebody. Yeah, exactly. Like this is contrived.
Yeah, it's the end or be all
Yeah.
type of thing,
Yeah.
and I don't appreciate it. I don't like the way that she's talking to him about it. I don't like the way that she's presenting these ideas.
Hmm.
Again, timeline.
Yeah.
Bullshit. EJ, run away.
Okay. On that note, shall we continue?
Mhm.
Monica, she's meeting with Luiza to figure out how to get out of this dreadful situation that she's in where she cannot choose between the two men, one of whom treats her well, wants the same things as she does, and the other one who blows her off, doesn't want kids, and treats her like she is an opportunity, not a woman in her own right. Okay.
Yeah, and she also said that Bernardo stood her up because there was a misunderstanding about the timing. Red flags. Can you not just make plans? You and I made plans for this podcast today. You said I can do it at 6 p.m. I said, okay, great.
And we both showed up at 6 p.m.
I mean, I was 6:03, but
Whatevs.
Louisa said that she wanted to invite both of them there because grown-ups make decisions. Monica responds with, I don't want to make a decision
I know.
because she is immature.
This encapsulates the entirety of her season.
Hmm.
I don't want to make a decision. And didn't she say when we very first met her that her complaint about the men she was dating in California is that they can't commit? They will not make a decision and be with her only. They want to go on to the next one and the next one and the next one. Monica, this
Pot
is,
black.
yes, pot, kettle, both black,
Oh,
both the
sorry.
same.
I missed the kettle part.
So this was just infuriating for me because in the last episode when we saw her, she was texting Bernardo to say, basically, you jerk, how dare you change our plans? You are not treating me the way that we just agreed that you would. I'm not a priority. So see ya. And yet, no, she didn't follow through with that. He's still on the
Mm.
menu. And in fact, she seems to have him at the top of the menu.
And that floors me. But I really appreciated the fact that Louisa brought them both in. So
Mhm.
she had to face them both together. And
Yep.
even seeing them physically together, Bruno was worlds above Bernardo. Not just with his words, but his physical reactions. Like when she started crying, he leaned over and he was rubbing her arm. His words were so comforting, kind, compassionate.
His clothes, he was wearing a jacket, a nice outfit. He was taking it seriously.
I
Bernardo was
noticed.
in a t-shirt. He didn't look like he was really all that bothered to be there.
And he also looked like he just rolled out of bed.
Yeah.
He might
There's
even be hungover.
there's very little respect in Bernardo's demeanor and in his outward appearance.
Bruno
That
at this
is
point.
echoed when we hear him say, "Oh, I'm just living in the moment. I'm in the present."
Mhm.
And
And then Bruno says that he wants to make Monica fit into his life,
I know,
not
it's
make Monica his life. Just embrace her into his current life. And that is the most level-headed, mature comment that he ever could have
Mhm,
said.
mhm. And in fact, if you watch it back, Bruno is the one who's answering Louisa's questions right away without hesitation, and Bernardo's kinda hanging back. It's as if he doesn't wanna answer, he doesn't
He
wanna
doesn't give a shit.
obviously, he does not.
He
He doesn't wanna be there.
he wants to get laid.
Yeah, he has no answers. There is no substance here. The choice could not be any more clear. It is obvious. And yet, I felt like Louisa had to strong arm Monica into making the right choice, which ultimately is going to backfire.
Like, when we saw the preview for next week, I wonder if she's gonna be calling Bernardo, apologizing, and crying again. "Oh my god, I'm so sorry that I picked Bruno. I really should have picked you." And then he's gonna say, "F you. You didn't pick me. I'm on to the next." And then she's gonna be destroyed and
It's time to go home.
back to the beginning.
Yeah, of course that's what's going to happen because Bernardo even says as he's leaving after she's made her choice of Bruno that this isn't over yet between them. He still feels like they've got some kind of connection and they're going to be talking in the next few days.
Oh, she's gonna go
Great.
meet up with him. She's gonna have sex with him.
Yep, it's going to be
She's gonna
pity sex, guilt sex.
Yeah, and then she's gonna go cry back to Bruno when Bernardo's done with her.
Hmm.
It's just I would say it's sad, but I mean, these are your choices.
It's pathetic
But
that
thank you.
she
Yes.
cannot make a decision, she can't stick to it, she can't engage in a mature relationship, one which is not all about the honeymoon stage, it's not all about the lust and the ooh, the excitement of we're doing all these physical things for the first time. She can't get past that. And when she talks about how much she wants, she yearns for this steady, solid relationship. And what she's doing is, in fact, the opposite to that. It's
She sounds like
just,
a 19-year-old. Every man that she gets with is going to be the one.
yeah.
She's so emotionally immature, and I feel so bad for her daughter because what is she teaching her?
Oh, her
Thank
daughter's way more mature than
I
Monica
was gonna
is.
say, thank God for the father, because apparently he's instilled a lot more,
Common sense?
yeah, into the kid
Yeah.
than she has, and I feel so bad for her kid having to watch her mom go through all of this. I'm just like, "Mom, you're an idiot."
Shall we read on?
I would love to, thank you.
The lovely Harold is next. Unfortunately, it was a very short segment this
It
week.
was too short.
He meets up with Dolly to assess how things are going with Amber and to catch her up on the last couple of days. Harold is also leaving, scheduled to leave
Supposed to be leaving.
in a couple of days.
Mhm.
I love the fact that Dolly was acknowledging all of Harold's growth, all of the strides that he's made, all of the learning that he's taken on. And I was very, very pleased that she tells him that she sees it. Thought that was
And
great.
remember from the very beginning, we were like, I don't know about Dolly. She tells him not to wear his
Suspenders.
suspenders and, you have to be Harold 2.0. And I think we've really begun to understand her. And I love that now she is just so supportive and so kind with him. And I think she's really giving him the positive reinforcement that he needs, in addition to the constructive criticism that he also needs.
Mhm.
And he is learning from it. I think he feels supported. And that's why he's able to execute all of these different actions and behaviors with Amber to be so successful. Does that make sense? I don't know if those words actually strung together properly.
Are you high or something? Just it's like you forget where you are. You're making sense.
I've had less than 4 hours of sleep. I had
That will
had
do
a
it.
cat emergency last night, remember?
That will do it. So Harold is asking Dolly how or if he can lock it down with Amber. He really wants to get this reassurance before he leaves. And Dolly acknowledges, be patient with Amber, refrain from pushing her. And then Harold has this magnificent idea, which is maybe he'll stay longer in Singapore. Does Amber want him to stay longer in Singapore? So,
But Dolly also said it might be better for you to not proposition it, but say, I want to stay in Singapore longer so I can see more about the country and the culture and not make it so much about spending more time with her.
mhm,
And I thought that was a really good call because that would put a lot of pressure on Amber.
yes,
Now he's staying longer just
for
for
you.
me. And, what if she has to work? What if she has to go to school? What if she has other plans?
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful suggestion. I would love to see Harold taking these adventures on his own and then suggesting that Amber might want to join him every now and again for something, sometime,
Mhm.
and keep the pressure off Amber. We will see how this goes.
I don't know. The preview for next week looks really good. I don't see
Yeah.
Tony in it, which makes me happy.
Mhm.
Oh, also, my only comment that I wrote for Harold and Amber was, "He's so sweet." I love
Yes.
Harold. We know this.
Yes, we know this. Any final comments before we go this week?
It felt like a really short episode. I feel like I really missed out on the whole Sarah and EJ prawn food thing. I might have to go and rewatch that, but also I'm just hungry.
Okay.
Okay,
Maybe
what
it's
about you?
time to go eat. I will reiterate what I said at the beginning. This was all about pushing people maybe a little bit too far.
Fair?
Before we go, if you're enjoying the 90 Day Fiancé Honestly podcast, please give our show a follow. And if you have an additional moment, please rate us and help other 90 Day fans to find our show. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
See you next week.